Are you looking to grow your dental practice and attract top-tier new patients? Discover the potential of digital marketing with a personalized strategy session. Join Lila Stone, the marketing director at Equa, for an exclusive 90-minute consultation. Lila and her team will dedicate 6 hours before your meeting to create a customized marketing plan specifically for your practice. This valuable opportunity is free of charge and comes with no commitments. Visit www.insuranceuntangledorg/MSM to schedule your meeting with Lila today. You'll also receive a free analysis report so you can start transforming your practice through the power of digital marketing.
You are now listening to another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast, where we explore the various challenges faced by dental practices due to their reliance on insurance. Join us in this podcast as we dive deep into the issues surrounding dental insurance dependence and offer practical solutions and strategies to help you take control of your practice's financial future.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. My name is Ben Tuinei, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast. And as you know, we've developed this podcast to sort of help you untangle the whole mess of insurance everybody seems to be dealing with these days. And so for today, we have a really fun and exciting marketing episode that I'm going to interview my co-host, Naren, regarding a very important topic. But first, Naren, how are you, sir? Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say.
Hey, I'm doing great, Ben. Really looking forward to this conversation. I think it's a great topic, and I'm glad we are covering it today.
Absolutely. It's a really interesting topic. I'll get right into it. So the topic that we selected for today is why more new patients won't solve all your marketing problems and what you should focus on instead. I think that's really cool. A lot of times we tend to think that the problem that we see is the problem that needs to be fixed, but when you take a step back from the business and sort of evaluate every component, you tend to find that the original solution that you thought was actually not the solution. So as it pertains to marketing, Naren, the first question I have for you is, why does everybody focus so much on this whole effort of getting new patients? And then second to that is, why is that maybe not the best strategy for some doctors?
Yeah, that's a great question to talk about. I understand they are right that they need new patients, but the reason they're not getting new patients may not be just a marketing issue. What I mean is, if you are a PPO practice, for example, and you're so used to taking care of PPO patients, right? It's hard for you sometimes to be different. Like, for example, you work at a place where you're selling, McDonald's type fast food restaurants, right? And you've been doing that for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you work at a high-end restaurant where people are paying $100 a meal, right? Unless you completely change in the way you are and how you are being, you might have a hard time, being an effective, effective waiting staff who's able to sell those $100 meals and convince people to have a great time. And of course, what that means is spend a lot of money at the restaurant. So same way, I think practices, when they decide to go after new patients, there are some system-wide issues that they need to solve. And if they don't solve those things, almost like they have to reinvent themselves. They have to change. If they don't change, even though, perhaps your marketing is getting better and better, but you won't see it in the number of new patients in your practice. I'll give you a hint. For example, the way the phone is answered. Convincing someone who wants free dentistry, pretty much those are the people on PPO plans, whose first question is it covered by insurance, is very different from convincing people to pay for $10,000 cases, pay for optional services that they are not used to paying for. So you as a team has to know how to deal with those people. You as a team has to know how to welcome them with the red carpet and then, build that awesome relationship.
So those are some very interesting points, Naren. When you talk about red flags, I could personally relate to what you just mentioned there. But in thinking about red flags as it pertains to practices that are not even ready for more new patients, like what comes to mind in terms of red flags that doctors should be thinking about as it pertains to this whole new patient journey?
Yeah. So let me give you some red flags. The first one is, you have a high cancellation or no-show rate. That's a huge red flag. That means you are not creating that commitment to your practice that your patients need to have, just like you are committed to them. For some reason, they don't appreciate you, right? So that's something you need to look for. Like if you have high no-show or cancellation, whether it's with existing patients or new patients, you need to lean in. Second is your front desk is struggling to turn calls into appointments. This could be like a silent killer. Like sometimes people don't realize they have cancer till they have stage 4. This could be one of those things. They may not even know they have this problem because the doctors don't have any visibility on how the phone is being handled. Usually the only visibility is they ask the person answering the phone, hey, how are we doing on converting callers into new patients? And most people will say, yeah, I'm doing a great job, right? Nobody says I suck. And the reason is in their mind, everyone who did not book an appointment was the wrong patient anyways. So of all the quote unquote right patients, I did an amazing job. I have 100% out of the 100. But customer is a customer is a customer, right? There's no right customer and a wrong customer or right patient and a wrong patient. So for some reason they're not booking, that means your conversion rate is low. So to uncover this red flag, one of the things we do with our clients is we record the calls and we tell them which of the new patients are booking and which of the new patients are not booking. That way they know what their conversion rate is. Instead of like, it's like, imagine we self-diagnose cancer, right? And we say, oh, we don't have cancer. No, you know what? You have to go and get those tests anytime you have any kind of warning signs. And who usually looks for the warning signs? It's other doctors. I mean, a lot of skin cancer, your GP might be the one who says, hey, you better go to a dermatologist and have this checked out, right? Because he sees something suspicious. As a medical professional, he knows this and knows what to look for. And he is in the minute immediately he sees a red flag. So here the red flag is going to come from you listening to calls and having that mechanism to tell you how many new patients are calling and how many are booking. Another red flag is patients don't come back. You see a revolving door practice. They come in, but they never come back. They never turn into lifelong patients. That's a huge red flag. So, because then it's like, imagine you're working so hard to get a new patient. Now, if you are an amazing practice, they will stay for years and years and years, and you will make a lot of money from that patient over the years. But if they only come once, then you don't see them ever again. Now, it's going to be like a Swiss cheese, your schedule, right? Because you have to keep getting brand new patients because the old ones don't stick around. And another red flag is your team is stressed out, and they're just going from one crisis to the other. See, these are all red flags that there are some underlying issues in your practice you need to fix, because if you don't fix them, it would contribute to you not having enough new patients. Yes, you still need great marketing, but marketing without fixing these issues still would mean you won't get optimal results.
Right. That's a good point. When just like any machine, right? There's not any one single part that runs the machine. There are many parts together. So you mentioned something interesting with regards to the front desk, Aaron. Team members being stressed out, barely being able to keep up with the current workloads that they have and all that we're familiar with. Why do you think that the front desk is such a critical part of the equation as it pertains to new patients?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of new patients are coming through your front desk, meaning they are picking up the phone and calling your office. And what happens in that phone call determines A, whether they make an appointment, and B, the appointment they make, they actually keep and they show up. So if that front desk piece is not really fine-tuned, then you're going to suffer. The unknown or the blind spot, if I may, is that being a PPO practice where they're coming for quote unquote free dentistry, it's different from having to convince people who don't have to come to you. They can go to anybody, right? Now, all of a sudden, the job description of your front desk team changes, but they're not, hired for the new job description. No, are they trained for the new job description? No, are they monitored for the new job description, right? In other words, convincing people to show up when they don't need to come to you because it's no longer going to be just free dentistry. It's going to be high value dentistry. It's going to be paid dentistry, things that people appreciate and pay for. It's like, imagine going to a soup kitchen versus going to a nice restaurant, where you get a really nice dinner. You have to convince them that, spending that $300 or $200 is worth it, right? I mean, through your marketing, through the website, through all kinds of things. Here, that linchpin is the front desk. So is your front desk capable of convincing people who have choices because they're going to pay out of pocket or because they're going to opt in for those high value services to come to you? Are they trained for that? Are you measuring how they are doing, right? If you are getting 100 new patient calls, Do you know precisely what percentage of them are booking and what percentage of them are not booking? Do you know precisely what percentage of them are showing up and what percentage of them are not showing up? So these are all things you need to figure out. And the reason it's challenging for doctors is they don't have any visibility. It's kind of like, I know there's a lot of news right now about Doge and the government waste and all that stuff, right? And the number one interesting point, I guess I'm sure many people will agree with, is when you don't know what's happening with your money, yes, it may be spent really wisely or it may be wasted. But the fact that you don't know is the problem. Same thing here, right? If you don't know what's happening with your phone, how many new patients are calling, what percentage of them are booking or not based on anecdotal evidence, not based on what the person at the front desk tells you, but based on hard data where you're listening to every calls. You know which of those are new patients. You know what percentage of the new patients are booking and not booking. I think that's the trick. You want to make sure that we provide an experience that's really, really powerful and useful for our patients. And you, as a practice owner, needs to kind of figure that out. So first, figure out what's your conversion rate. Make sure your calls are recorded, and then do something about it. If you find that it's not optimal, it's not the best it could be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, I like that, Naren. It kind of leads me to think about the whole concept of the backdoor problem, right? And in terms of, or the revolving door problem, right? People come in and they come out, and then they leave, and they never come back. How does that whole backdoor problem, as it pertains to new patient flow, right? How does that backdoor problem, how does that hurt a practice?
Yeah, I mean, we all need a vision, right? Especially new patients. If I don't have a vision and I don't see you, the practice, as part of that vision, then I'm not coming back, right? So do you have a new patient experience that creates a vision for me, that helps me see this as the dental home? Let's say I'm somebody who hasn't been going to the dentist because I'm afraid of pain. By the way, tens and millions of Americans don't go to the adult Americans don't go to a dentist because they're afraid of the pain or the perceived pain. Now, for me, you have to solve that, right? You have to make me feel comfortable. You have to make me feel so calm and relaxed and help create a vision for me. Hey, help educate me, how you're going to, bring me back to optimal health, how you're going to keep me there, right? You have to introduce me to the team. I have to start liking the people there. I have to start seeing them as part of the solution. If you don't do that, you're going to have the backdoor problem, meaning they're coming in, but they still haven't found the right dentist, just like they didn't find with the last person they went to. And again, they go AWOL, right? All of a sudden, that patient who really had high hopes coming in because you had this sedation and you were really, marketing it through Google and whatnot, now they don't stick around. Even simple things, right? I mean, you go to a practice and the people are not friendly, right? They're like, okay, I don't even care that you're here. That kind of an attitude, right? You're a number to them. If your team doesn't have a relationship-driven practice, right, you're going to have a backdoor problem, because who wants to go back to a healthcare practice where they don't feel heard, where they don't feel cared for? Mm-hmm. Because the number one thing people care about in healthcare is the trust. They want to be able to trust the people on the other side. They want to know you care about them. They want to know you know what you're doing, and they want to know that they're in good hands. If those things are not answered, and that's where relationship-driven practices are very powerful, they're not going to come back. So these are two examples. So if you're noticing, a large number of new patients don't become lifelong patients, I think you should be expecting 90% of your new patients to become lifelong patients. And then, you have a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We gotta close that back door, right? And it's almost as simple as having just awesome customer service, giving people a reason to want to come back to you.
Yeah.
It just seems like the whole customer service being at that top game is something that I'm seeing a lot of practices missing these days. So as it pertains to this whole concept of investment into new patient flow, Naren, we're sort of talking about a lot of important things as it pertains to marketing in general. And we've talked about a few things that address this next question, but what are other things that practices or practice owners should focus on before spending money on new patient marketing?
Yeah, I think I think your marketing company should listen to calls and tell you how many new patient calls you're getting and how many are booking and how many are not. So that's some problem that your marketing company should be able to solve. We do that for our clients at no extra cost, or you can outsource it and that'll cost another $400 or $500 a month. I think you should insist your marketing company does that. And then, we talked about, investing in training, investing in even Google reviews, right? If you're not getting 10 or more Google reviews, that means you have a practice that still leaves things to be desired, meaning it's not an A+ practice. So, figuring out a system to get, 5-star reviews, at least 10 or more every month, and then implementing it. I think those are all good ideas. So these are just a couple of ideas that I would focus on: Google reviews, and then the marketing company should be able to listen to calls and tell you how you're doing with your phone in terms of conversion rate and number of new patient calls.
Oh, that's excellent, Naren. This is all amazing stuff, and I appreciate you sharing sort of this insight to this whole world of new patient flow, right? I hear a lot about doctors spending tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, and they keep complaining about, hey, this marketing isn't working. But when you go back and listen to those recordings of the new patient calls, a lot of times you find the problem on that call, right? That kind of addresses some training needs. So if I'm a doctor and I want to figure out how my practice is doing and where I can improve with marketing and new patient flow, what would be your recommendation or offering, Naren, as a professional marketing company in the industry?
Yeah, I think you need to have an audit of your marketing along with your website. Just like we talked about problems in your systems inside your practice, there could be problems on your website, right? Maybe it's not ranking on Google. Maybe nobody sees it when they're looking for the different services you offer, like Invisalign, veneers, emergency dentist, you name it. Any type of things they're looking for that you can serve, you can help them with, you're not showing up. And ideally, you should be showing up in the top 10 results for 100 or more keywords. So that's the type of an audit you want done. You want to know why you're not showing up. Is it because of duplicate content? Is it because of NAP? These are all technical things that Google looks at to decide if you deserve to be in the top 5% or not. Also, are your pages, working? Just like there could be problems in the way the phone is answered, there could be problems in the way the web pages are set up. Meaning they're not set up to increase the number of people who call you and book appointments, versus they go to your website and they're like, I'm not really sure, and then go to the next one. Is that happening to you? Assuming you're ranking, but maybe that's where your problem. So you need to find all these issues that might be, stopping you from getting new patients, and then you need to fix them. We talked about many of those things inside your practice, right? And especially the phone experience. We talked about Google reviews. So these are all things I think you need to work on, and book a marketing strategy meeting. It's our gift to you. It's a $900 value. And, you should book that marketing strategy meeting and, find out how you can really take your marketing to the next level. I believe the link is insuranceuntangledcom/MSM. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Insuranceuntangledcom/MSM. And we'll have that posted in the show notes.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it will be a great way for you to figure out where you're standing with your marketing and, go for it. I think you will learn a ton, and you will benefit a lot. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I highly recommend that to our listeners. And I thank you, Naren, for this wonderful episode and a bunch of amazing recommendations and education as it pertains to this whole journey of new patient flow, getting ready for it the right way, and then closing that back door, right? And making sure that people aren't slipping out through the backside, Yeah. And so Naren, I just want to thank you for all that. And to our listeners, I want to thank you for joining us on another amazing episode. Check out insuranceuntangledcom. Don't forget to request the marketing strategy meeting with Naren and his team, insuranceuntangledcom/MSM. Check out the website for our upcoming webinars. We do hold them quarterly. So we're going to have one here in March 2025, and then every quarter thereafter. And then, by the way, give us some love. Share this with people. Give us a review. That'll help other doctors find our content. And the most important thing is we really appreciate you joining on today's episode. Until we meet again, we wish all of you the very best of success. Take care, everybody.